Got him. Yes. Love this crankbait, man. Woohoo! That's at least a 4.5. That may be a 5.
Hi, welcome to our channel. My name is Annie. Shooting, fishing, and outdoors. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Good job.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday, June the 29th, and I'm out here on the boat and kind of rigging a little bit. We're getting ready for this next week. Ethan's back home from his church camp, and boy, we found a few little areas that have some white bass and have some largemouth on them as well. And we're planning on hopefully getting out maybe a couple afternoons this next week. Maybe before the fourth crowd gets out there and it gets too crazy. But we're hoping we can get out and have some good days with Ethan. But we're getting rigged up here, and I thought I'd go ahead and do our July baits and talk about what we've been fishing lately, what's been working. And I'll just be honest with you, I've kind of learned a few things in the last, 2 weeks that is a little different techniques that I'm not used to fishing, and they seem to be working. So we're gonna get into it right now. All right, guys, in my June top baits video, I talked about a big worm, being kind of like the first thing that I throw into that school. I'm still going to have this on the deck, but it's kind of changed my perspective a little bit. I'm not going to be leading off with this big worm, and I'll tell you why I've changed my mind. All right, guys, I wanted to pause right here. I kind of wanted to explain my thinking with this, and also kind of give one caveat where I would still lead with a worm on a school. Let's say you've scanned the area and they're just stacked, but let's say it's like a small area that they're on, like say no bigger than like this garage here. Okay, in that scenario, if it's truly like a small little spot that they're on, yeah, I'm probably gonna lead with like a big Tokyo rig worm, like a big, X-Zone Lures blitz worm. If it's shallower, maybe like that big Zoom Magnum speed worm, Texas rig, something like that, okay? If they're on a small spot. Where I'm talking about not leading with the big worm anymore is on these, when you get on these big mega schools offshore, and there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bass in a 50-yard, okay, in that scenario, I'm leading with the big crankbait, and I'm going to give my logic here. I feel like my reasoning before was that like you want to throw this in there first and hopefully get a big bite and be able to fish it without throwing like a big moving bait in there like a crankbait and pulling the school off of the spot. And like in theory, you think, oh, well, you can fish the spot where they're set up longer, because you end up kind of busting up the school with the big crankbait. Well, I've kind of changed my perspective on that a little bit. I kind of feel like the more I've thought about it, you want to capitalize on those fish that are the most aggressive. And so I'm kind of, I've heard the pros say it too, like you want to throw that big crankbait in there first. And I kind of see what they're saying now. It's not just like getting a big bite, it's getting the aggressive ones that are ready to feed to fire. So I'm leading off, and what I've been doing here lately is leading off with this big joker here. Now this is that hardcore 7+, the bullet crank. Now this one here has been working really good for me lately. This is that gizzard, I think it's a green gizzard shad color. This crankbait, man, it is awesome. It gets down 20+ feet on a long cast, no problem at all. But yeah, I'm throwing that on this 7'11". This is that Lew's cranking rod, the extra deep. They have on here the 10XD, extra deep. It's actually a 710, not 711, 710, medium heavy, extra fast. This thing, dude, I can rear back and I can launch this big crankbait. So even though, and it's a medium heavy, it's got an extra fast tip. I really like that because I've swapped out these trebles on this bait. I got these 1/0. This is the Gamakatsu 2x strong EWG. I really like that hook. The other thing I do with this crankbait, and I do this with all my crankbaits, I put a little snap on it with a swivel. I feel like that's real important because, you know, I mean, with these, unless you double up your O-rings, once that twist, there's only so far it's going to go. And I feel like at least if you have a swivel on there, you can maybe get a little more rotation with the bait before they throw it. But, yeah, the thing is, you just have to be real about it. I mean, you're going to lose some bass on a crankbait. But there's nothing I feel like that you can fish as effective down there, especially when you first get to the school, to get them fired up. So, yeah, you're going to lose some, but you just kind of deal with it in order to get the other bites. So, but yeah, deep diving crankbait, that's what I'm leading off with. I'm going to try to get a big bite with this big bait and also capitalize on those bass that are aggressive. And at the same time, you're getting the school fired up. Now, as far as boat positioning, try your best to position your boat so that you can avoid the school coming up under your boat. What ends up happening if you, let's say it's a hump and you get up on top of the hump and then you're throwing out there, and if you're winding that crankbait and it just bringing it right back to the boat, you're going to pull the whole school right under the boat. And once they're under the boat, it's done. So if you could stay out like in the river channel or out in a little bit deeper water and throw up on the hump, you may pull them off of the hump a little bit, but they should reset back up if, you know, on the spot. So just keep that in mind. I mean, I try to always take that into consideration, and I also try to take into consideration working the bait with the current, like throwing up into the current and then working it back down with the current on the spot. Now, that isn't always feasible, but when it is, I try my best to check all those boxes if I can. But like I said, ultimately when it comes down to it, every spot's different. Sometimes you do. You just have to get up on top of the hump or whatever it is, fish it the best you can, and then once the school's up under your boat, you just may have to back off a little bit and let them set back up. But anyway, said all I'd say, leading off with the crankbait, get a big bite, get the school fired up, capitalize on those aggressive bass. Got him. I don't know if that's big bass. Yes, love this crankbait, man. Woohoo! That's at least a 4.5. That may be a 5. All right, next two that we're going to talk about is a spoon. This is that little Larry. Caught a few on that already. Golly, that was big. Yes.
Rainbow throw.
There he is. That's not a white bass. That's not a... Oh, I come off. Oh, another one got it on the way up. Lily came off and another one got it. That's a bass there. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Okay.
Literally,
Yeah.
I think the one that had it first was bigger than this one.
That's funny.
Really like that big spoon. And then for Ethan, and you guys, if y'all have watched the channel, Ethan with his, this is a 1/3 ounce, or maybe the 2/5. I can't remember, but that's the size. It's either a 2/5 or a 1/3 ounce Bass Pro Shops Game Fish Spoon. That is his bass, white bass. It is a killer. He catches this by hopping it. He catches the white bass on a straight retrieve. He catches largemouth on a straight retrieve. This is just such an effective little bait. He's caught them working this thing like a jig down on the bottom on the shell. So yeah, this little lure here, it is very good. It's very easy for a kid to work. I fish it sometimes too and still catch them with it. Just, you know, when Ethan's not with me, I'll grab it and use it. So anyway, yeah, this is a bad little booger right here. So if they're not, you know, they're shying away from that, this is a little more finessey, but it's still aggressive enough, and it'll get them fired up.
Oh. Tip down. Tip down.
Oh, it's nice. Oh, that is a spot. Come here, spot. Oh, it's a big spotted bass.
Yeah, it is.
Woo, Ethan.
I am dangerous. That's a big.
That's a 3-pound spot.
Baby spotted.
That is your baby spot. All right, next bait here. I'm just going to hop right on into it. After the crankbait and the spoon, man, here lately, this has been the juice. I mean, I'm talking like, I don't even pick up like the drop shot and things like that. Like, this is my, once I fish the two aggressive things, the crankbait and the spoon, this is my go-to. The thing is, so I have this set up. This is kind of like my, you know, jig head minnow kind of setup here. I have a little loop knot tied, and it's on that 1/2 ounce, that VMC Redline jig head, their new tungsten jig head. So last month, we discovered that we could put these little Kitex on here. This is a 3.3, but I also fished a 3.8. Throw it down there, let it sink all the way to the bottom, and I'm talking working it slow back. I mean, you're feeling all that shell down there. So you can see this coating that they had on this ball head. That shell has just worked it all off. I mean, but that's the whole key, is you're working, you're reeling this so slow. I mean, you might as well be fishing a worm or a drop shot or something. You're fishing this so slow. But anybody that knows about these Kitex, the cool thing about these Kitex is that at very, very slow speeds, that little tail back there is still just kicking back and forth, which is why it's such a good wintertime swim bait as well. Well, because of that reason, you can work that thing super slow down there in that shell on the bottom. And man, let me just tell you, at the end of June, we have been, I mean, putting a hurting on them. God, that real good shell is. It's just right there.
Yeah.
Like, there is a difference. Like, I can feel it when I hit it. Yeah. Oh, ooh, Daryl, this is a bass. It's a monster. It's coming up. It's a big one.
Are you need me to come up there with you?
Yeah. Yep, a second. He's coming up. Oh.
You sure? Oh.
Yes, it's a fry. Oh, you. Yeah, when I was slower, I felt it hit that shell, and he went, dunk. I'll just be honest with you, I don't hardly even throw the drop shot or the worm anymore. Like I said, I was going straight from the crankbait, the big spoon, to this. This is kind of like my cleanup bait here. Now, I still will have the big worm. I got, the big Tokyo rig down there with a big like X-Zone Blitz worm or a Zoom old monster. I still got that on the deck, and I'll probably still fish it some, but as long as they're still biting this and biting it as well as they are, I probably won't even get to the worms. All right, so I'm telling you, I just loaded the boat with all my my Kitex that I typically have over there on my little wall, like for wintertime Alabama rig stuff. Dude, it is a great ledge bait. And I just can't believe I haven't been fishing it anymore. So anyway, right now, that's my rotation. Deep crankbait, spoon, then I'm picking up this booger here, and we're about to go to work. A few more things about this particular setup I want to talk about. So this is a 1/2 ounce jig head. So I have this set up. Like I said, this is my jig head minnow. This is a 7 foot. Yeah, it's a medium fast. So a medium fast, it still kind of fishes almost like a medium heavy. I said all that to say, this 1/2 ounce jig head, you don't want to throw that on a noodle, like a medium light or a medium moderate type of spinning reel. You need a little bit more backbone to drive this hook home and to help keep it pegged whenever they come up and jump with this 1/2 ounce head. I mean, last year I was experimenting with a 3/4 ounce head a lot, and man, they would come up and, I mean, I'm telling you, I would land probably less than half of the fish that I would hook. Well, I feel like I'm doing a little bit better this year, but we've still lost a few that come up and shake. Dang. Another nice largemouth. See, that's the problem I have with this, and I did it last year. Now this is a 3/8. This isn't even a 3/4, but I have such a hard time keeping these bass pegged. But I was lazy with that one. I thought it was a white bass, but nonetheless, a little frustrating. So just realize with this big jig head, you gotta keep it tight on them to keep them pegged, especially when they come up and jump. Try your best to keep them down, but just realize when they come up and jump, you can't let any slack get in that line, or they're going to throw this little booger. All right, guys, and one more thing that we've been doing to our little minnows and our little swim baits. These two options here in the thump gel for those, I kind of go back and forth between the chartreuse juice and then just the cranking gel. I like the little blue flake in both of them. It just kind of depends. Like if I'm in a little bit more stained water or deeper, then I like the chartreuse juice because that little bit, the kind of chartreuse gives it a little more pop. But if it's clear water, I like the cranking, but I still like that blue flake. So I was going to show you this. This is that original Sexy Shad Kitex, and you kind of see. So I put some of that chartreuse juice on there, but that little blue flake in there, man, it just makes it kind of pop a little bit more. Another thing too, I like this Kitex, it has these little ribs in it. The thump gel really kind of stays in those little places there where the ribs are at. But anyway, I just thought I'd show y'all kind of what it looks like. But man, for a ledge bait right now, just slow rolling that down there in the shell, man, I guarantee you're gonna get bit. So with that in mind, talking about that 1/2 ounce jig head, I have rigged up, and this is probably gonna be a lot for Ethan, but heck, I may fish it too. This is my drop shot, but what I did, I have shortened that tag in extremely short, and made it where I can nose hook like a Z-Man swim bait, like those diesel minnows or something. And I'm going to fish this very similar to the way I was fishing that Kitex. I'm going to try and keep it down there low, close to the bottom, and just see how it works. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, the little ball head jig head on a Kitex, that's about as realistic as it gets. So I'm not sure like how this is going to work. That my theory is that it should still work, but I just really don't know. So I'm going to give it a shot, see how effective it is. Hopefully it comes through that shell okay. I know that I didn't have any problems at all with that little ball head jig head. But my thought is that when they come up and shake, with the weight being detached from the hook, that I'll have a better chance of landing those fish that I keep losing. So I'm going to give this a try and see how that works. Now, I'm not throwing a Kitech on this. I guess I could, but clearly it's going to be a one and done kind of thing if I try to nose hook a Kitech. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to experiment with this and just kind of see how that works. All right, so the other thing that I'm going to try, kind of with that same thought process, is a Tokyo rig. Now, I talked about the Tokyo rig for kind of like a substitute for a big shaky head. Well, this may be a substitute for that little ball head jig head as well. Now, the only thing, clearly this is not going to look as natural as that little ball head jig with a Kitech on there. But if that is down on the very, very bottom, and then this is behind it, hopefully they won't be able to get a look at that. That's my thought on it. So I'm going to throw this some as well with a Kitech on there. With this one, I'm just going to thread it on up, on the bait instead of like nose hooking or anything like that. But yeah, so we're going to try that, and then also try the little super short tag-in drop shot. Okay, next bait is the Topwater. For the way we're fishing, like offshore and the ledges, this time of the year, I really like to have just a whopper plopper. The thing is, whenever they come up schooling, I just want to be able to have something that I can throw far and immediately engage it and start working the bait and it look natural. The thing with this, and this is a size 110, I really like the 130 a little bit better. It's just slightly bigger. You can cast it a little further, throw it on 30 or 40 pound braid. Just make bomb cast. Same thing, I like a little swivel with a clip on it. But like I said, I don't have to worry with walking the dog or anything. And one thing I have discovered with the whopper ploppers, all right, you guys know on Guntersville, man, there's floating eelgrass everywhere, okay? I feel like I can throw this, and whenever you end up hitting a little eelgrass, you can give it one hard chug, like pull, and a lot of times you'll just clear the eelgrass off of it. With a walking bait, I feel like, I don't know, man, I just feel like I have a hard time getting the eelgrass off of it. Like it just, on a walking bait, that eelgrass gets on there and you're done. Well, and that happens sometimes too with this, but I feel like just from fishing both of them, with this whopper plopper, whenever I get bogged up in some eelgrass, I can pull it straight and a lot of times just clear that bait, and then you're still in the game. So that's kind of why I have gone more to the whopper ploppers for my Topwater. And like I say, guys, I'm not like just throwing this out there and just reeling it in. This is for when they come up schooling, something I can make a bomb cast right in the place where they're schooling. Because it's all about accuracy. You could throw probably any kind of Topwater, and if you land it right in where they're schooling and start working it, you're going to get bit. But anyway, that's my reasoning for the whopper plopper. Just for Guntersville, for schooling bass, for being able to clear the eelgrass off, that's my pick. Oh my word, did y'all see that? Yes! Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. That was awesome. Okay, next thing is a drop shot. I really like this Z-Man long shots. I like this bait for nose hooking. It's that Elastec. Throw it on like a size 2 wacky Nico hook. I really like this VMC Redline. But the cool thing with it, like I said, you can nose hook it. You don't have to worry about losing your bait because it's Elastec. I like those two colors too. Now that's Twilight, the pink looking one. It's kind of like a morning dawn color. I'm actually getting low. So that other one you see there, that is called the Duel, that color. I like that one as well. But if I'm nose hooking a drop shot, that's what I like to do. If I'm throwing it and I'm like, or exposing that worm, I usually use a size 1. And I'll do, like if it's clear water, I like this Aaron's Green Pumpkin. Or this X-Zone Deception Worm. This is the Green Pumpkin Blue. Those are probably my 2 favorites for like, you know, really clean water. If you're, let's say you're clean water and you're fishing like 10 feet or less, then like something like this. Now, if you're talking more stained water or deeper water, I like the Morning Dawn colors. Just a regular 6-inch straight tail worm in Morning Dawn. And then if you get a little bit more stained water, I really like this Morning Dawn hologram. That chartreuse tip to it, I think just gives it a little extra. And boy, I've really, this particular one, if y'all have watched the channel, this worm right here is probably my favorite for drop shotting offshore. All right, and I mentioned it briefly earlier. So truly what I was saying that I was gonna lead off with is probably the drop shot and the worm is kind of absolutely my cleanup bait now. I've kind of, like I said, I've kind of changed my perspective on the approach. So this is still on the deck. This is the X-Zone Blitz worm. And this is June bug. I like June bug and then like a red bug plum color as well. But I'm throwing this on 20-pound fluorocarbon, and then that is just a 1/2 ounce that I have on there. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like with this, I really don't need a 3/4. I really haven't fished anything any deeper. I mean, if it's 20 feet, this still fishes very effective. I feel like I don't need a 3/4. Now, I may get somewhere and I may change my mind, like if the current is absolutely ripping and I'm fishing down below 20 feet or something, but I haven't fished anywhere so far that I haven't been able to fish this and keep it on the bottom and drag it. So anyway, so 1/2 ounce. Like I said, I'm not saying that I won't use a 3/4, but I haven't found a need for a 3/4 yet. I'm about to catch a big bass right here on this little hump. Oh, there we go.
Oh my!
I'm not kidding, it's a good one too.
Dad's on the board, dude.
It better not be a catfish. No, it's a big bass. Anyway.
Got him! That's at least a 4, Dad. That's a 4-pounder.
Hit the old Tokyo rig.
Hey,
That's a nice one.
Let's ride that fish, dude.
All right, here we go. Nice one. Little night fishing. Okay, and last but not least, I thought I would mention this as well. You know, I've been fishing that 1/2 ounce ball head jig head so effectively down there in that shell. You know, this is a 3/4 ounce. This is a Scottsboro jig head, Swimbait jig head, and you got it paired with a 4-inch Crush City Mare. Now you can do, you know, whatever color, you know, you want for your water clarity. I think this is that green shad, and the water's so clear where I've been fishing recently that I was like, man, that probably would be a pretty effective color. But anyway, yeah, kind of the same thing, kind of the same way that I'm fishing that ball head jig head with that Kitech. I think this would work just as well. I think I can work this down on top of that shell and just kind of ease it through nice and slow the same way. So I got this on a 7'3" medium heavy, 15-pound fluorocarbon, and like I said, that is a 3/4 ounce jig head. But yeah, so that's going to be my last bait for the ledges, as far as like not my cleanup, but that's something I'm gonna try as well that I haven't fished yet. All right, so for the month of July, that's pretty much like, you know, my ledge baits. That's what we'll be fishing. And kind of our approach for July is going to be this. If we have an afternoon off during the week, we're going to be ledge fishing, okay? More than likely, they're going to be pulling some current in the evenings. The bite's going to be better. We can hopefully get on a good spot. Maybe there'll be some white bass there, and just have fun, okay? Now, if we're fishing on a Saturday morning, I'm not going to fight everybody over the ledge spots. So if we fish on a Saturday morning, I'm probably going to go up either like waterfront, goose pond area, fish upriver, and fish shallower grass. Whether that's fishing with a speed worm, or either frogging and punching, things like that. You know, probably fish shallow, maybe topwater or a speed worm in really shallow water the first few hours of the morning. Then once the sun gets up, go punching. All right, just because you can just get in an area and just fish and have fun, okay? And honestly, man, them guys been catching some big uns up the river, punching and doing things like that, even frogging. So yeah, if I'm fishing on a Saturday, that's probably what I'm gonna do. But during the week, I'm gonna try to get on the ledges, man. There's not as many people out there. A lot of times you can get on a spot, have it to yourself, and just enjoy the afternoon. All right, guys, hope y'all enjoyed that video of our top picks for the month of July. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.